Good evening and welcome. This is the Modise Network. Tonight, Minister of Arts and Culture, Nathi Mthethwa, joins us to discuss the work being done in the department to support the creative arts and our heritage. Later on, actor, producer and director Akin Omotosho will be on the couch to talk about his latest documentary, The Color of Wine, which is set to premiere at the Encounters South African International Documentary Festival, currently on in Cape Town and Joburg. Welcome, I'm Tim Modise and thank you for joining us this evening. South Africa is famous for its creative exports in the field of the arts, from icons such as William Kendridge to Ladysmith Black Mambazo and DJ Black Coffee. It is this creative output that the world encounters before it meets the rest of what South Africa is all about. And there are other parts of the South African personality which include the diversity of cultures, languages, history and heritage sites. The person responsible for that is the Minister of Arts and Culture, Mr. Nathi Mthethwa, who joins us to talk about the programs, the politics and the economics of this sector. And Minister Mthethwa, a pleasure to have you with us here on the program tonight.
Thank you.
I've already said that's what the world meets up front. The individuals I've mentioned, but there's also the artifacts, the product that comes from South Africa. Let's talk about the politics and what they meet first. Recently, DJ Black Coffee performed in Israel, and there was a major uproar about his visit there. I wonder what the government's view would have been on this particular matter. Do you guide artists on what to do, and what did you think about how the public responded to the announcement that he was going to perform there?
Thanks, Tim, and thanks for having me in your show to be with you here today. We don't really dictate to artists what to do and what not to do, but what is important is that artists, they are human beings first and foremost, and they are part and parcel of society. Society like South Africa is a society which is and should be sensitive to any oppression, racism, apartheid. And therefore, we would not encourage our artists to find themselves enmeshed in a situation where children are killed on a daily basis in Israel. So we really would not, if somebody asks me or asks us as the Department of Arts and Culture and Government, would discourage that.
Sure. And I'm asking the question deliberately because sometimes, as you point out, artists are individuals, and this is their profession, their livelihood. They've got to make choices and decisions as they go along. But where they are in doubt, should they seek advice from your ministry?
Well, I think there are obvious things in society, generally, globally, Tim. One of those is the conflict of Israel, what is happening to Palestinians there. Just the other day, you heard that Messi decided to decline and cancel his trip to go and play in Israel, precisely because we need in society conscious beings, sensitive to the plight of the vulnerable, to the plight of the weak. Because if, for instance, as the world says that the conflict of Israel has to come to an end, and you become insensitive as South Africa, it doesn't, bode well for us and the world, because it's the world which assisted us, worked with us in solidarity to attain our own freedom in South Africa. So it's a very important matter. It's a topical matter. It's a global matter. Nobody should really disregard what is happening.
To what extent would you say arts and culture is part of South Africa's foreign policy, right, and exposure to the world? Because I'm aware that now and again, when there are major events happening around the world, especially at South African high commissions or embassies, you will take some of the artists there. What is the point of doing that?
Well, Tim, we have a program, the Seasons program. The Seasons program is a cultural diplomacy program, an exchange programs on our arts and cultural products across the world. So what happens is that we send our artists to a particular country for a period of time when things were okay, when the global economic situation was at a better period. We would have our own artists spending a year in a particular country. And the following year, we get artists from that country coming to South Africa to ensure that there is that cross-pollination with the world, with Africa first and foremost, because it's about integration, not only politically, but also economically and culturally. So for us, it's quite important. Our artists are our ambassadors. Just on Sunday, we were with the President of the Republic of South Africa celebrating with Lady Smith Black Mambazo on their 5th Grammy Award. And one of the things the President raised is that you as Black Mambazo have gone around the world to represent us as South Africa. So you are our ambassadors. So our missions, our embassies, the world over, are very much to our heart, close to our heart as arts and culture, because this is where we're able, this is one major channel to expose our views to the world.
But of course, all is not that well in our own backyard. We also have got our own issues and contested terrain. There's underdevelopment in certain parts, and there's fully developed theaters in other parts. I want to talk about the issue regarding Miriam Makeba's legacy. She was the unofficial ambassador, of South African arts generally and culture, but specifically also a representative of the struggle of South Africa, and even unofficial spokesperson, if one may add that. But recently, there has been a dispute between her descendants and the body that's supposed, the organization that's supposed to protect her royalties and rights. And they were arguing with a particular company that said they are entitled to the royalties that should go to her family. You got involved as the department. Tell me more about your involvement.
Well, yes, Tim, I would challenge anybody, whoever that person is. I mean, the story came with Mr. Charles, I don't know this family name, who raised the issue to the effect that the support for Miriam Makeba's cause is a support of a private citizen. Now, I'm saying that Mama Africa is the heritage of South Africa. So when we enter that fray, we are saying that we should not be barred by any South Africa and government, together with the family, should not be barred by anybody who would say, no, I have absolute right to her, you cannot celebrate her. South Africa, to this day, has not celebrated Mama Africa. And I'm saying that it's an anomaly which we should correct. If we have to go the route of the court to clear this so that we made it abundantly clear to everybody that you cannot talk about Miriam Makeba as a private citizen. She belongs to South Africa. South Africa must do everything about her, celebrate her, praise her, and because other people elsewhere in the world are doing that. So our entering here was to unlock that, and we are prepared to go all the way. We're prepared to go, and we're prepared to challenge even Mr. Charles. We can talk, we can have a talk with him, but I'm going to make a point that not only the family of Mama Makeba, but the family, which is South Africa, benefits out of her own work, what she did over a period of time.
How are you going to do that? I mean, I understand the point behind it. How are you going to make sure that she is regarded as a person who's left South Africa a legacy, that she's the heritage of South Africa, the way you put it?
Well, let me take a step back, Tim, and say that I didn't know about this arrangement, which excludes everybody but one person, who happened to be, claiming to have rights over her and so on, until Brahu met me. He wanted us to have a meeting, and he said, man, if there's something I've tried in my life and I'm failing on and I need your intervention as government, is this legacy of Makeba, which can't be touched by anybody. And he explained to me who's the gentleman. And I approached the gentleman. I said, no, but we can't do this. We cannot do this. I mean, we can't deny South Africans what belongs to them. So that route didn't yield any fruits. When the family then came and said to the department, we need assistance, we said there is a common factor here. They need assistance as a family to unlock this logjam. We also need that for South Africa so that anybody, anywhere can decide today to call a festival for Makeba, to do any other thing. It's accepted. That's what we want. Now, the only route which seemed to be available is the one her descendants decided to take. And we are their friends who are joining there and were supporting, even financially, to ensure that at the end of the day, South Africa benefits.
Nathi Mthethwa is the Minister of Arts and Culture. We're going to be talking about the programs and the areas that the department is responsible for, and some of the issues that they are currently involved in, the campaigns that they're involved in. We'll continue doing this in a moment. Remember to be part of our conversation and join us on Twitter, #Modise Network.